The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
Woo! It is the last detachment of Grotmas.
The last day of Grotmas?
The last day of Grotmas. And I mean, who better, right, than the winter themed army themselves?
I know, the Space Wolves. Like, I got the little snow on the bases or whatever.
That's right. We got Champions of Fenris to go with Champions of Russ.
Copy my homework, but don't make it obvious.
I said that joke to Quentin 30 seconds before we
Hey. 45 seconds before we
Sorry, my bad. It's like, that's good. I'll file that away.
Definitely. So yeah, today we're talking about Champions of Fenris, which is somehow different than Champions of Russ. Legally distinct there. Yeah.
And if you want to hear our thoughts on Champion of Fenris in detail, where I break down a list and go over what I think makes it good and how to play the army, and if you want to see games with it in the future and things like that, you want to check out the War Room. It's down the link below. It's going to be thewarroom.vhx.tv, and we are running a promo during Grotmas. Grotmas 2024 will get you half off your first month, as well as you can get a 3-day free trial.
Yep.
If you click on the link down below. So there's all
Grotmas
reasons to sign up.
2024, all caps.
All caps.
All caps.
All right.
So heading on, what do Champions of Fenris do, Jack?
All right. We got the Great Wolf Watches.
That sounds exciting.
It is. All right. At the end of your opponent's charge phase, each infantry and walker unit from your army within 3 inches of one or more enemy units that would be eligible to declare a charge against one or more of those units can declare a charge against one or more of those units. And you resolve the charge as if it were your charge phase, but you do not get to fight first because of the charge. You don't receive any charge bonus, and what that means is the fight first part of it. Anything that says, did you complete a charge move, those still trigger. While Terminators from your army are not battle shocked, in addition, +1 to OC for models in those units.
So this is basically giving everyone like 9th edition heroic intervention.
Yes.
This is interesting. If you did not play 9th edition, heroic intervention was a semi-niche rule. It was never like crazy.
It was good. You needed ways to make it 6.
Yeah.
And I think that is also the case here, by the way.
So I think this is really good if your opponent plays into it, but I think if your opponent is like, I'm just going to stand 3.1 away and just shoot you, or like charge isolated units, or like charge a unit and then be like, do you want heroic? I'll kill both of these things.
Yeah, you can make it annoying for your opponent.
You definitely
because you can put your unit on an objective such that if they want to get on the objective, they have to be within 3 inches of you to charge them.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a unit that they don't want to charge themselves, and then taking that objective away from you is going to actually be kind of annoying.
So this is really good on a unit that has a native fight first or is really durable. It's also really good, and this is a pretty common scenario, where like an objective is basically bifurcated by a wall. So like half an objective is behind a wall and half an objective is in the open, but where it's 3 inches from the wall to the objective. And a really common strategy, if you have like a durable unit hiding behind the wall, like say you have like 10 Terminators or something like that, your opponent can be like, oh, I'm going to put these, I don't know, idiot Admech Vanguard on the point. I'm going to put like 20 AC by just touching the lip, and then it's mine, and haha, your Terminators are OC1. But in this detachment, you can be like, nah, I'm going to come out and punch you in the face.
Yep, and then you just walk back behind the wall on your turn. You need to have an objective that's bifurcated by a wall, but where the puck is of the objective is on the other side, is on your side of the wall. It's going to be a little odd. You can also just keep people off of objectives generally, especially if you can sticky objectives.
Yeah.
Because if you can sticky it, you can surround the puck so they can't get within 3 inches of the objective without just you charging them. Now, something to keep in mind is this is at the end of your opponent's charge phase. And so what that means is they can just walk onto the objective and then just shoot you to death.
Yes, that is the other issue.
There is no defense against that from the detachment rule. So you have to be very careful, because if they can just walk on with a unit and then just shoot you to death, you don't have a protection, right? This is not Corn, where if they walk onto the point, when they do so, you will blood surge into them. No. This is, it has to be the end of their charge phase, right? They have to be all done with their shooting and their charging, and then you get to have a say over it.
I want to my last experience with this was an edition ago. So I want to see how this plays in 10th edition, like on the table before I make a definitive, like this is better than Champions of Rust, this is not better. It's a very cool, but fairly niche rule. I like
3 inches is a little small. Unfortunately.
I like that it works on walkers. You can get like the epic Murder Fang Wombo combo.
Dude, if Murder starts fanging, you just get in there.
Can you imagine you get the full Murder Fang bounce
on their turn. On their turn.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to these enhancements.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be looking for ways to turn this. I can see the next rule coming up.
Yeah.
I want to look for ways to make this 6 inches, because 6 inches is much, much better than 3 for this kind of rule.
Oh, also Terminators get +1 OC.
Yep. I read that out, but it's kind of buried by the cool part of the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many Terminators you want to take. Honestly, Terminators kind of blow. But
OC2 Terminators are interesting.
They're better. They're
better. Yeah.
They're better. You're still probably not going to take them.
No.
All right. Wolves Wisdom, 30 points, but probably worth it. Infantry unit only. The bearer's unit can declare a charge against 1 or more units within 6 inches instead of within 3 inches when using the Great Wolf Watch's detachment rule.
Okay, this single-handedly makes the detachment rule quite good.
Yes.
Because at 6 inches is the point where you can be like, I am on the lip of this objective. If you touch the entire thing, I'm just going to charge you. So you put this on an infantry character in some kind of very hard-hitting unit. If it's Terminators or Blade Guard or whatever, and then if your opponent like steps up, you just go crump them.
Yeah, unfortunately, generic Marines don't really have great combat units. So it probably would be like Wolfguard Terminators.
Yeah.
But they don't actually hit.
Yeah, there's no like Sanguinary Guard here.
There are no Sanguinary Guard in here. There are no Sword Brethren.
Yes.
So because you're probably going to take Blade Guard with this, or you're going to take Wolfguard Terminators.
Yeah.
And we'll see if there's ways to like amp your damage in the strats department, because that can definitely help it, right?
Yes.
Like if a Terminator captain plus 5 Terminators is on an objective behind a wall and they walk in to take it and you charge them, then maybe you can get some sort of benefits. And you will swing before they do, because you don't get the fight first, but they didn't charge, so they don't get fight first. And so you go before they do. It's pretty scary for them. Foe's Fate. 15 points. You want to...
Yep. Adapt to start a Terminator model. Each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, falls back, all models must make a desperate escape test. If they're battle shocked, -1. This is cute, but very situational.
It's on Terminator only.
Yeah. I mean, so you have to take a Terminator character.
And then you have to also not take Wolf's Wisdom.
This detachment really wants you to take Terminators.
Yeah. Maybe it'll even provide a reason to do so.
I think if you have 15 extra points, I don't hate this. If you can tag like a unit of Wraith Guard, right? Like,
that is the best option, right? A unit that won't punch to death and wants to fall back.
Right. This is not worth it if you're going to be tagging like Grots and you lose like 1 Grot. That's pretty whatever.
The problem here is you have to tag something that is not hard hitting enough that you care if you tag it.
Yes.
But also is valuable enough that they will care if they fall back and lose some models.
And the number of unit and they're not a monster vehicle.
Right, like
the number of units.
Wraith Guard is a really good example of the thing you want to hit, but they're also fairly rare.
It's like Wraith Guard, Centurions, maybe like Eradicators, but like there's not a lot there.
Yeah, and not the Assault Centurions. Those you very much do not want to tag.
No. Yeah.
So you're probably not going to take this. It's also limited to Terminator model. Like why? Fang Rune Pendant. That's pretty cool. Got 15 points. It's also on a Terminator. The bearer's unit is able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back.
That's great.
It's good. It's good. You don't necessarily know that is the unit you want to fall back and do
That is true, but like just having as an option, I think it's 15 points totally worth it, right? Yeah. I mean, like it's the worst feeling in the world when you have 10 Terminators get like tagged up by like some Grots and a Rhino.
Because Terminators don't hit that hard.
Yeah, or like if your opponent just bases the edge of the unit, like if you have 10 Terminators and like a character or whatever, and your opponent bases all of them with Grots and then tags the end of it with 1 truck.
Yeah.
And they like only 2 guys can fight the truck and they're never going to kill the truck. Then that feels really bad. So
I'm going to be 100 with you though.
Yeah.
This would have to go on the second Terminator unit.
Oh, 100%. So the first one's always getting Wolf's Wisdom. That one is by far better.
Yes. I agree. If you have 15 points, I wish it didn't have to be on a Terminator. But like if you have 15 points, it's a good thing to have.
So basically, I view enhancements in one of 4 categories, right? I will alter my list fundamentally to include this enhancement.
6-inch heroic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is I will downgrade a unit to fit this enhancement, right? Like whatever scout.
Like I have 20 points left, but I need 25. All right, I will make a unit worse in order to fit it in.
Yep. Then there's I'll take it if I have the points, and then there's I'm not going to take it. This fits in this is probably in the like I'll take it if I have the points.
Yeah.
The Wolf's Wisdom one is I will fundamentally alter. I will take different units to make the enhancement fit.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's like that first category is I will start the list with a character with this enhancement with a unit in mind it's going in, and it will just live there the whole time.
Yeah, like if the captain costs 100 points, no, it doesn't. It costs 130.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Long Strider.
Reroll charge rolls for the Bears unit, and this can be any model. It doesn't have to be Terminators. No,
that's not worth 20 points.
No, it's not.
That's so situational.
You don't know that they're going to be the one to fail the charge roll, and you can also use a CP if they do.
Yeah.
And you always are spending the 20 points, and you might never fail a charge with that unit. If this were 10, I probably would only
If it were
take
10,
it.
I'd consider it. But at 20, it's not worth it.
No. You also, by the way, on your go turn, you have full reroll charges for your whole army.
Yeah, because there's no way you're taking this detachment and not taking Logan.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So, like, it has to be on your off turn when you're not in your wolf wall.
Yep.
And yeah, it's in your awu.
Yeah. Prey Taker's Eye.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Using either in the shooting or the fight phase. 1, Adeptus Astartes infantry, so probably Terminators, but can be anything.
Could be anything.
Select either lethal hits or sustained hits. That's really good.
Yeah, there's at this point in the edition, we can basically allocate like how much a stratagem should cost, like how much lethal hits or sustained hits are valuable to units.
Yeah.
And generally, it is worth like 0.66 CP.
I would agree there. So I would say it's worth 0.66 CP unless they have some way of like getting crit 5s or full
Then you'll
rerolls.
spend it. Or like 0.5 CP, honestly.
Yeah, if you need to kill something and you're putting this on 10 Terminators in the Oath turn, like this is not bad.
The problem is I think you're never going to be happy to use this.
I could see myself being interested in using this.
I've used Sustained Hits 1 on Black Templar Terminators because you put them in an Oath that gives them Sustained 1.
Yeah.
Right? I've done that to get around the fact that Terminators don't hit that hard. In the Terminator detachment, I'd really like something that makes them hit a little harder. Maybe sustained or lethal 1, and in combat you get crit 5s because there's not a lot of like sustained or lethal.
Well, I mean, like sustained hits is just 16% more damage, right? Because you're just getting 16% more hits. Yeah. Although it is swingy, so like yeah.
It's very swingy. I think if it were Terminators and it got crit 5s, I'd like that a lot.
Yeah.
More. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, and then lethal hits is much more situational. But I think 1 CP for sustained lethal is a solid enhancement that I'm glad to have.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Armor of Contempt.
You know it. You love it.
It is worse than it was before because it is now once per activation instead of once per phase.
Still really good though.
Still pretty decent.
Still super good.
It's going to be better in combat than in shooting because combat is generally a lot of low AP, whereas shooting can be generally is like smaller doses of attacks.
Do you mean it's better in combat? Oh yeah, better in combat.
Yeah, better in combat.
Also in combat, like
how much
is being allocated.
Yeah.
But yeah. Runes of Claiming. At the end of your command phase, pick 1 infantry or walker, stick you that objective.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's at the end of your command phase, so it is worse than some of the other ones that do similar things. A lot of other detachments have in the command phase sticking objective. This is end of yours, which is much worse because like in Demons, for example, you can walk onto an objective and then go to your opponent's command phase and say, in your command phase, I'll stick you. So you can walk on and then do it. Or, you walk on, kill something on it and stick you or whatever have you. Whereas this it has to be in your command phase. And that's still pretty decent. It's still pretty decent.
It is. I would say this strat feels the same to me as the sustained or lethal for 1 CP.
Yeah,
it's nice to have.
0.5. I think 0.5 would have been a better cost, but they can't do half a CP, so it costs 1.
Chilling Howl.
All right, so you pick a Terminator unit in your opponent's command phase. Every enemy unit within 6 inches of your unit must take a battle shock test, -1 if they are below half strength.
You can use this to deny scoring.
You can.
Which is nice.
It's not in the battle shock step unless you could make this in the battle shock step of their command phase if you wanted to. Don't do that. Because if you do it in the battle shock step of their command phase, then they can 1 CP auto pass it.
Yeah.
If you do it outside of that, then they can't.
This is fine.
It's fine.
Okay. So I feel like Prey Taker and Sticky, I'm going to use once a game. Armor of Contempt, I'm going to use once a turn. I'm going to use this once a tournament. Yeah.
Stalking Wolves. 1 CP in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target. You pick an infantry unit that was selected as the target, and it gets stealth. And this, again, is a stratagem I would pay half a CP for.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, on a big unit of Terminators, stealth is, as we have seen in Death Guard, is quite annoying.
It is.
It is also kind of situational.
It is kind of situational.
Right? Like if your opponent ignores hits or like a bunch of like other ways to get around it, or they're going to kill you anyways, it's not worth it. But like if they're at the margins once, it's not bad.
All right, and then finally we got Onrushing Storm. Into your opponent's fight phase, you pick a Terminator unit not in engagement range, and it goes into strategic reserves.
I think this is quite good.
I think it's good. The problem is it's going on the wrong targets. Like Orcs, in the Tactical Brigade, in Orcs, you can put Storm Boys back in reserve. And Storm Boys are a cheap 65-point little doofus who can run around doing secondaries.
I actually disagree with that. I think that they're good for different reasons, right? So the thing is, Storm Boys, go up into the sky and they come down. I'm going to go Locust or Cleanser Homers or whatever, right? The Terminators, the point is, like, if 10 Terminators are out of position, they move 5 and it sucks, right? There's no way for this detachment to, like, fix that. They're just walking at you 5. And with this, if they're like, oh, I need to go backwards to go deal with something, I've dealt with it, I'm going to go up into the sky and then drop down. And maybe you don't immediately drop, like, on that turn. Maybe you wait for a rapid ingress, or you drop down and then are on a position and walk forward. But, like, I think being able to reposition Terminators is quite strong.
That is quite strong. I mean, so you can, because they go into reserves, you can hold the unit past turn 3, so you can rapid ingress on turn 4, which can be good. A comparison here that would be pretty decent is the Blood Angel detachment does this with Jump Pack.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is that Jump Pack can be a hammer unit, or it can be a skirmish unit.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to decide which one you want. Whereas this is just always a hammer unit.
Well, you could take a 5-man with no characters.
Yeah, I don't think you understand how terrible a Terminator unit is as a 5-man with no character. They're 15 attacks.
Yeah, but like they're kind of annoying to kill. They're OC2. They go up and down. They're not that expensive.
What are they, like 175?
Yeah, I would pay that for 5 Terminators.
They hit on 4s with the Thunderhammers?
No, so you take the Bolter dudes. Or the Thunderhammer guys.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like they have 4 girls to hit with Logan. Like, I don't know. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this detachment is very fine. Its biggest weakness is the fact that all of it is really screaming at you to take Terminators. And Space Wolf Terminators are not generally, with the exception of like Deathwing Knights, are not awesome. They're not terrible. This is the best I think they've been in a very long time.
I think they need +1 attack, really. The problem is that you look at their data sheet and you're like, I am all about this. And then you look at their melee weapon and you're like, I am not about this. They have 3 attacks, either with a Power Fist at 8/2/2 that hit on 3s, or 3 attacks that hit on 4s.
With Dev Wounds.
They have Dev Wounds.
They're durable.
They're not that durable. They kind of are durable.
They're annoying to kill.
They're annoying to kill. I think they'd be really well statted if they were just like if this detachment gave them +1 OC, +1 attack. I feel like you could have a decent Terminator detachment.
Yeah, I'm not that afraid of like Term. They are also very slow, and this detachment has no way of improving that. Like one of the big Death Guard can make a lot of Terminators, and one of its biggest weaknesses is that you can like pre-measure and then just like shoot them, and this detachment doesn't fix that at all.
Yeah,
right.
You get one unit can have stealth if you spend for it. None of your other ones do.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's not great, but like it's not awful. I think if you want to run a bunch of Terminators, this is a decent detachment to do it in.
I think I'll be 100% honest with you. Champions of Russ is just better.
Yes,
it's better in like every way. Champions of Russ is like a good detachment.
The Champions of Russ is better for Terminators as well, which is the annoying part.
The truly great thing that this detachment does is Wolves Wisdom on 1 unit.
Yes, that is by far the best part of this detachment.
Yeah.
The strats are all like very mediocre.
The enhancement detachment rule is pretty mediocre.
Like this detachment is like it's like screaming 5 out of 10s, and then Wolves Wisdom is like a 15 out of 10.
Yeah, Wolves Wisdom is nuts.
No, it's great.
It's really good because the detachment rule would be The detachment would be nuts if it was 6
If it was
inches.
flat 6, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, and because flat 6 on that is gross. 3 is kind of mediocre.
Did Space Wolves used to do this? Wasn't it like a 9th edition thing?
That used to be, I think that used to be a one of the chapter things you could pick.
Okay.
And you would then heroic 6
Right. Yeah.
on everything. And it was really annoying to deal with.
Yeah. 3 inches is just not far enough.
No, 3 inches is just not far enough.
Yeah.
Wolves' Wisdom is great. The rest of the detachment is just quite bad, honestly.
I wouldn't say it's bad. I would just say it's mediocre. I think this attachment suffers from the fact that Champions of Russ and Gladius both do what it's trying to do better.
Yes. Champions of Rust, you have access to advance and charge. You have sustained hits all the time on everything.
Or Feel No Pain.
Or 6 of Feel No Pain.
If you
have
need it,
ways to
yeah.
proc all of those so you
Yeah.
can start stacking multiples. Once you do, it's pretty good. The enhancements are good. This one has half a detachment rule and enhancement. And yeah,
All that
I
said-
would just much rather take Champions of Rust because I think Champions of Rust is actually pretty good right now.
I think this is a very good anti-melee army in teams.
Why?
Because, like, you can take a bunch of, like, if you take, like, Blade Guard Judiciars, right? They charge your screens. You can, like, heroic into the edge.
I think you're pretty deeply overestimating how hard Judiciars plus Blade Guard hit.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's, like, cute, I guess. It's got, like, a bunch of, like, cool tricks, things you can do.
I guess you could try and go that avenue, yeah. The problem is, like, Blade Guard heroic in and then have sustained as their main source of damage output. Like, I will just take my 8 bound and charge directly into you. Then you can fight first and it'll be fine.
It'll stab you.
You win on 5s.
It'll be fine.
It will not be fine.
It'll be fine.
It
It'll
will not
take
be
lethal
fine.
hits. It'll be fine.
It will not be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty mediocre. I like if you're a diehard Space Wolf player, you still have Champions of Russ, and that's actually an outstanding detachment.
Yes, it is. It went from, that detachment went from awful to like really good. It's like one change.
Talk about 0 to hero.
Yeah.
But like you and I both said it on like our podcast multiple times. All Champions of Russ needed was the fact that you get to pick one of them to start.
Yeah. And that's transformative.
Yeah. Well, it makes it so that you actually get a detachment from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Because you just like didn't before.
All right. Well, this is not Champions of Rust. This is Champions
It's
of
a
Fenris. But my recommendation would be to play Champions of Rust, but I will be attempting to make this detachment work.
It's cute, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's very fine.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, you get Space Marine data sheets and those aren't terrible.
Yeah.
All right. That is it for us for today. We'll be playing games with these new detachments. And there's a list up in the war room right now that I created for Champions of Fenris alongside a video about why I took it and how you should play it. And you can go check that out with Grotmas 2024 for half off your first month down in the link below. And you can tag me in our Discord. And that is it. Thank you for being with us through Grotmas. This has been a ton of fun. And we will see all of you guys in the new year.
See you around.
Bye-bye.